Hey guys, this is Sir Quasel, and I'm going to be showing a deck that I am attempting to remake. It is a Mass Polymorph deck. It is blue-black, and this is a deck that I absolutely loved for M10, and then that short period of time where M10 and M11 were both standard. You could have both Mass Polymorph and normal Polymorph. But I'm trying to bring it back, or at least for me, I want to bring it back because I love the idea of getting multiple creatures out without having to pay their cost at all. So the main backbone of this deck is Mass Polymorph. That's your bread and butter. And then I like to have three fatties. The first one being emrakul. It should just say you win on the bottom. I mean 15-15 puts them on basically 2-turn clock if they're not life gain, and you're killing 6 of their permanents every single turn every time you attack with him. So it's pretty sweet. Another card is the bane of any mono decks, is Iona. If you're playing a mono deck, it just makes it to where they can't play any more of their colored spells. And if you're playing a duo deck, then it lets you cut their deck in half. And usually by the time you're playing Mass Polymorph on turn 6, you're able to figure out what color they are using the most and able to shut that color down. The third fatty that I like to use is Stormtide Leviathan. He just puts the board on a standstill with you at a better position because you're still able to attack with any creatures with flying and island walk. And so yeah, those are my three fatties that are the game winners. Now with Mirrored and Besieged coming out, a couple new cards with a new game mechanic came out, which really helps Mass Polymorph, and that's Living Weapon. The best one for Mass Polymorph is Flare Husk. You're basically getting a 1/1 creature for 1, but since Flare Husk itself is not a creature, you're able to Mass Polymorph, and Flare Husk won't slow it down or won't get in the way of you polymorphing into an emrakul or a Stormtide Leviathan or whatnot. Another great card for the same thing is Wind's Endicon. Turns one of your lands into a man land, which you can do the same thing. And whenever you get rid of one of your man lands, you just get it right back in your hand. So it's pretty sweet. Another one for this is Mind Control. Mind Control, even if you're not doing Mass Polymorph, is just sweet. By turn 5, if your opponent is playing some ramp, odds are they're going to have an avatar or some other kind of fatty. And so taking it with Mind Control is pretty sweet. And even if they don't have a fatty for you to take, if you've got a Mass Polymorph and a Mind Control in your hand on turn 5, it's usually a good idea to take one of their guys for more fuel for Mass Polymorph. And since Mass Polymorph is the entire reason for this deck, having 4 of them in a 60 card deck seems kind of low. So having a couple Diabolic Tutors is pretty good. This is the main reason I wanted to put black into it. It lets you search for Mass Polymorph, and it just makes the deck a lot more consistent. Another way to dig into your deck for one of those 2 is Preordain. It's just scry 2, draw a card for 1. It's pretty sweet. Another really important card for any Mass Polymorph deck is See Beyond. You draw 2 cards and you put 1 back. But the reason this card shines is because, say you're playing and you draw emrakul. There's no way you're going to play him. I mean, unless your opponent, unless you cancel your opponent's main cards and you both just keep drawing lands for 15 turns. I mean, there's no way you're gonna hardcast emrakul or even Iona or any of those things. So being able to use See Beyond to put that fatty back inside of the deck for when you Mass Polymorph is pretty important. And then with blue comes the Mana Leaks. Mana Leak, it just lets you counter pretty much anything. And then with black, you can Doomblade anything you don't Mana Leak. So it's pretty sweet. And if your opponent is playing some blue and they've got some counter spells, there's nothing worse than having your Mass Polymorph cancelled. So having a couple Call to Minds is pretty sweet. It lets you use Diabolic Tutor to grab a Call to Mind if you're out of Mass Polymorphs, or you can just pick up a Diabolic Tutor, or even if you already have a Mass Polymorph, you can use it to pick up another Mana Leak or a Doomblade if you've got a problem guy. And then for my land, I decided to go back and forth with the Island and Swamp, just half and half, 12 and 12. I know there's a lot more blue in this deck, but since every single blue card, with the exception of Mind Control and Stormtide Leviathan, they each only require one blue mana. So I think 12 and 12 is just fine. Now for the sideboard, this is the part where I want a little bit of comments. First one being cancel. You can switch this out for Mana Leak if your opponent's playing a ramp deck and they're able to pay that extra 3. Having a hard cancel is pretty good. Another one you can switch out for Doomblade is Go for the Throat. Go for the Throat is pretty sweet. If you're playing a black deck, you put this in for it, and yeah, it's just pretty sweet. Another card is Unsummon. You put in Unsummon if your opponent's playing a similar deck, or they've got a couple fatties that are pretty important and pretty hard cast. You throw that back in their hand. Also, you could put these in against aggro decks, which would slow down an aggro deck pretty good. Another card you could put in if you find that your tokens keep dying too much is Origin Spellbomb. It's another colorless, non-creature spell that gives you a creature from Mass Polymorph, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, that's my deck. Give me any criticism, comments, ideas, what you would do, and any other thoughts you might have. That's it. I will have a link to my deck list in the description. Later.